front one would go and the back one wouldn't. So we let the fire go down and looked at it. And it looks like what happened was this little cast piece, I don't know if it got reefed on by some helpers with a little bit of a log in the way or something. So that's that's 1/2 inch square stock basically, but cast as part of this. And the way they had it in there, it was like this, and then this went through here, the back sat in that cradle, and then this broke off piece went in this square hole. So for now, what I'm going to try to do just to get us going again, and I don't know how well this will work, is I'm going to try to flip it around like I had it a minute ago. It looks like this will all fit in there right. Is have the two female square bores face each other and make about a foot. This goes right through to about right there. You can go about a 1/4 inch past that face. I measured the firebox, and if I make a 4-inch piece, it's going to be, I'm going to see if I can make a piece of 1/2 inch square stock and couple these together by, for now, just putting this in backwards, because the shape of everything seems to be right. I think it'll work. So we'll try that and see how it goes. Get it back going.
Okay. So does cast get brittle as it's hot?
I don't know if it gets
or as
more
it's cooling?
I don't know if it gets more. No, it would get less brittle as it heats, just like, you know, super cold weather can make cast crack. So I don't know if it was a bad pour. It's pretty porous in there like cast is, but that's really porous. Yeah. But we'll just make a piece out of steel. I think, you know, you could even take a chop saw, which is hopefully what we'll do. Find a piece of 1/2 inch plate, not even have to leave here, and chop off a 1/2 inch off the end of a piece of plate and then cut it to length. With a chop saw, it might be a 5-minute job. So it just snaps.
So it's supposed to look like this on the other end.
Yeah, this is the one. This one gets a lot of grief. This is the one you put your handle on, and then this part number would be the same, and they just run the same part into the end. I mean, you could line up 100 of them; they're all the same.
Yeah. So
just for now, I'll see if I can reverse it and do it this way, just to keep things going without. I'm assuming maybe you could order these, but it probably shouldn't happen. But
so, like with the maple syrup evaporator, they have replacement grates. They probably have replacement grates for these also, but we just discovered this late last night.
Yeah, this was all wonky in here. It was all crooked and up like this. So maybe the boys tried to shake some ash out with some pieces of firewood in there. One got caught in here, and it just made that snap. But it's such a simple deal. If I can just do this. The book had part numbers, I think, for everything. So you probably could order them, but if this gets you by for, if this is a, you know, eventually, I would assume you'd get a crack here if you reefed on things too much, or
in your little
could pop. Yeah, it's just cast. It's not like steel. That's why manhole covers, people think they're cast, but they're steel. They're steel because they would just, it's brittle. So I'm pretty sure cast gets less brittle as it warms, but because this really's never been cool all winter until right now, which is an opportunity to clean it out. You know, it's sweep the thing right out, get it all perfectly clean, but then we got to start over.
Okay.
So we'll try that.
All right. Well, got to find us some square stock, and I'm going to see about getting a second set of grates to have on hand, possibly, because, you know, in the future, right now we have no hot water, and the house, I did some baking this morning to kind of warm it up, but it was at about 65.
Couldn't find any 1/2 inch stock without wrecking something that's valuable. So a railroad spike was pretty close. There may be 9/16. I think that's what it was. So I cut the tip off, made a little mark here didn't cut through it yet, so I knew how far to grind it with a hand. I didn't even have a vise. So I ground it all down till it was about a half inch like this. Well, this wasn't really half inch, it's just rough. Made that. So I'm trying to notice, if you look at these from the heat, that's warped. So I made it a little sloppy. I hope it goes. So I hope I got my length right. I'll slip that in. And kind of lift them up and see if that'll go about like that. Might do a little more grinding, but it's gonna, at least I think it's gonna work. That's the idea. Just a simple little scrap deal here. So I'll grind it a little more because now that I've come down here and see that's warped, this one might be too. Yeah. Must be from the heat or something. They just kind of. So I'll grind on this a little bit more, and then we'll see if it'll go back together for free again. I'm assuming there's lots of companies that have these same part numbers, how things are now. They might come from somewhere else and everybody uses about the same part. I have no clue what they would cost, but even if they are cheap, that doesn't get us going today, right? So I'll grind on this a little more and we'll see about it. So basically what I thought was when I got out to grind it is that more than likely my problem was not the dimensions of it, was that I left sharp corners and trying to put that in a casting. So I rounded off the corners with the grinder, and that was what it was. So now it's just about how I want it, really. So I took a nick out of this corner right here, just in case when I'm in there and putting that together, that corner needs to miss. See that? That gives you a lot of relief. And then it's probably going to end up being, when it's together, maybe about like that. But either way, it can never come apart from use. I made it long enough that it can't. So this should, if these aren't warped so bad that it won't go together in there, then I would have to make it even smaller. But so just a simple little deal like that, hopefully we'll fix it and just run this backwards until we either buy another one or maybe it's okay. So we'll try it.
So sometimes our frugalness gets the better of us. He's outside doing some more grinding on his part, and I pulled up on my phone about replacement grates, and then I realized, well, there's different models. So I punched in our actual model number, $127 each before shipping and tax. So that really starts adding up a lot, and it's a good thing to be able to do a little grinding on a piece of scrap metal to be able to make this work for a while, because I know they'll fall apart eventually. But that's a lot of dough, and that's a lot of hay to sell to heat the house. So if we got to do it, we have to do it. There's no way around it. But, you know, well, there's always fabricating your own. So with a little bit of work and adjustment, he was able to get it in there. We were finding we had some ash in some nooks and crannies, so he was just cleaning that all out. But tapping them together, grinding, rounding the edges. We're back in business. The warping was causing some problems a little bit with the final assembly. So
just old-fashioned type stuff. A little bit of sloppiness. That's okay. Makes the job doable.
Mm-hmm.
So they're a free railroad spike, I guess they are.
Yeah. So go for a walk.
Couple pennies worth of electricity.
Yep.
And,
for the grinder.
Yeah. I don't know that we'd even order any new grates. We might, but I don't know how much of a problem they are. But a little bit of a flawed casting might have caused what just happened there, so
yeah,
not going to worry about it.
Well, and maybe they have some that are hardened steel instead of cast.
I don't know. You could make, you know, in bad times, you could make your own out of, you could make your own grate out of steel. If there comes a time you can't order parts or get them to you or whatever, it's just simple stuff. That could have even been drawn out with fire and a hammer. I could have blacksmithed that 9/16. You can draw them out longer and thin them down. I could have even done that with fire. I just ground it down and that was fine. So,
all right.
No big deal.
Well, that's the Hotblast grate repair, everybody. These things come up. Gotta have some tools. Gotta have some skills. And if you don't, you better start and learn.
Very little skill.
Yep. Even this guy who doesn't know anything.
Yep.
He can figure it out. So thanks for watching. We'll see y'all next time.